So it's Breakfast Club day tomorrow. Do you remember Bridget's manifesto pledge where she was going to put breakfast clubs into schools, whether they wanted them or not, or even if they had them, she was still going to do it her way? Well, that starts tomorrow. It will come as no surprise that quite a lot of schools are going, yeah, we just don't want your breakfast club. We were really good with our breakfast club because we charged £3.50 for it or £3 for it. Those that needed it came. Those that couldn't afford it, we were still providing free breakfast for them anyway. So this doesn't change any of that. And because we were actually charging what it cost to run the breakfast club, we weren't in deficit. Whereas now you're giving a 60p a child, so we are in deficit. We can't run it the way that we did it. We can't afford the staff. We can't afford the actual breakfast, a bagel and a breakfast bar. Gone is the fruit bowl. So it's not worked out so well for us. So do you mind if we don't? And that is something that is being heard from more and more and more schools. So Bridget is scraping the barrel. She's trying to get on her socials, people going, oh, this is brilliant, this is fantastic, it has helped me so much. And so far, all she's managed to do is get one head teacher who's had an existing breakfast club in his school since 2022 saying that he thinks it'll be quite good. I mean, literally, well done, brilliant, fantastic. And that's what you spent 90 million quid on a social media campaign for? Ask for a refund. You were done. A couple of comments that you won't have heard, Bridget, which I think you ought to hear. This one from a lady called Susan. I'm a chair of governors. We have run our own breakfast club for years, helped by Greg's financially. They've been fantastic. I hope you can donate us the funding so we can spend it on other day-to-day consumables. Pens and papers comes to mind. Susan doesn't sound as though she likes the breakfast club idea. I don't know, could get the tone wrong there. Another mum, I'd rather you made it so that I didn't have to work every hour God sends and I could actually spend the breakfast time with my children in the morning instead of having to rush to do a job that I don't get paid enough work for, have to work too many hours for and give it all to Rachel Reeves. Thanks a billion, you can stick your bagel. Now, I'm guessing she's not that fussed by the breakfast clubs either. So, Bridget, I mean, we always say this, it's a recurring theme with you, isn't it? Now is the time to listen. Use these things here, they're your ears, therefore listening. But maybe it's time for you to listen to the feedback, which is the breakfast clubs aren't working. The schools don't want them because you haven't given them enough money. You haven't, and again, it's like everything you do, you haven't thought it through. You made a comment in the paper the other day, and I'll have lost a bit of paper, so I'll have to remember it off the top of my head. But you said people don't like being educated about education from a working class woman from a state school. Utter rubbish. People don't like being allegedly educated by education by somebody that's got absolutely no qualifications to do so. That's what people don't like. They don't like somebody telling them this is how you run something with no experience, no qualifications, no actual knowledge of the job, and telling them that their way is better when all the schools are going, well, our way was working. There wasn't a problem here. Why have you created a problem that we didn't even have? That's what they're saying. They want Greg's back. They want Kellogg's back. They want Magic Breakfast back. They want the people that were doing it and were doing it well, and it wasn't costing them. You've introduced something that's not free and it's costing schools because they've got to make up the gap in the same way that you've done 30 hours of free childcare and nurseries aren't being paid enough per child. So they're having to fill the gap. Well, where from? Where's that coming from? That's not in the pot. The maths. You've got to be a big spender. You've said in the manifesto you were going to spend £315 million on breakfast clubs by 2028, 2029. Well, we're in 2025-26 at the minute, and you've spent 30. So that means that in 2027 to 2028, you're going to spend £285 million on breakfast clubs. Really? I mean, really? Somebody, I don't know. Rachel might need to explain that one. I mean, I doubt she can because she can't really understand it herself. But that, it just doesn't stack up both as an idea and financially. So I think it's about time you stopped with the people don't like listening to me because I was from state school. Far from it. They don't like listening to you because you talk rubbish. They don't like listening to you because you haven't got a clue. They don't like listening to you because all of the good educators that are offering you the advice, the head teachers, the teachers, it'll be the union soon enough, which is going to be awkward because that is your mate Daniel. So that could be quite an interesting beef. But you're not listening to anyone who actually knows their job. And I don't know why you didn't think you were going to get found out. Like when you were little and you told a lie and then you couldn't sleep for like 6 days because you thought, oh my God, they're going to find out, they're going to find out, they're going to find out. And then, of course, they did find out because we always get found out. And it's like, why haven't you worked out that the voting public, the actual British public, will see that none of your plans are working? What do you think they're going to do? Pat you on the back and go, don't worry about it, have another year in office? No, Bridget. I mean, there's already calls for your resignation over the trans women debacle. But I mean, how many things do we need to stack onto the list of reasons why Bridget Phillipson should resign before you actually do? Breakfast clubs is one. VAT on education is one. The education bill is one. I mean, let's not even talk about the consistent rumours that we keep seeing on X about some dodgy dealings with your mum. You know, reasons to resign. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's that song again, isn't it? Reasons to be happy. And I said it was madness and it wasn't. And everyone texted in and said, no, it was not Dexy's Midnight Runners. Oh, it's not Popmaster. Somebody will tell me again. Anyway, Bridge, I'll leave that with you. I mean, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Well, we won't, will we? Because as with all of these things, it takes time. But I think if you listened to the people that were actually giving you the advice, if you showed a little bit of integrity, you might not go ahead with this. But you haven't, and you have. It's another waste of money. Brilliant. I'd like your checkbook. You seem to be really good at writing checks and just like more, regardless. Which, this is actually really interesting. If you were on The Apprentice and this was your business plan, I think Lord Sugar would have laughed you out the room and said you're fired after like week 1. I don't think you'd have got any further than that. This, because none of your business plans stack up. I mean, let's not even talk about Rachel Reeves. She wouldn't have got through the interview process. But I don't understand how you keep getting away with it. It's bonkers.